Without doubt, one of the most exciting elements of any stacker's journey is taking delivery of your precious metals. But with great power of ownership of such wealth comes responsibility to not only check that what you're getting is real, but also to protect yourself as a consumer going forward in your precious metal stacking journey. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a warm welcome to you all joining me for part 7 of my complete guide to investing and stacking gold and silver. Now today I want to focus on the most exciting part of any stacker's journey, whether you're new or a seasoned stacker, and that is of course taking delivery of your precious metals. There's nothing quite like getting that package through the post and feeling the wealth, the weight, the real nature of the value of the things that you have bought. It's exciting. It can be very addictive, and perhaps that's a video for another time, but it's certainly a watershed moment for a shift in responsibility from the retailer to check that they've got real genuine articles and of course posting it to you. As soon as you get it, the responsibility shifts to you to make sure that what you are getting is in fact real. And then of course there's a whole host of different things to think about in terms of record keeping, storage, testing to make sure it's all real. So we're going to talk about some of those elements here today, perhaps more focused on the kind of testing side of things, a little bit on record keeping as well. But all of these are just a collection of my tips, hints and tricks from my own perspective. They could be very different for everybody, and it's important to remember that this is not financial advice. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions though down in the comment section. It's one of the reasons I make these types of videos, to get that discourse going, and I know a lot of people, both new and seasoned stackers, will get a lot of value from that comment section. So let us know your top hints, tricks and tips for taking delivery of precious metals. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you're not subscribed, like 70% of the viewers on this channel. So when you take delivery of your gold and silver, as I said, there's a watershed moment where suddenly the responsibility is now on you to check what you've got is real. A lot of dealers out there will have really, really high levels of kind of, ability to check their silver. They'll have XRF machines, they'll have all these other different fancy bits of kit. Some of them may even use Sigmas and things like that. And it's ultimately their responsibility to make sure that what they've got is real. But sometimes fakes will slip through the net, whether it's a fake real metal coin, or whether it's just a pure fake that's in a big batch of coins. So sometimes it is definitely worth checking, and especially if you're using a dealer that perhaps is not as well known within the marketplace. Sometimes corners might be cut, and it could prove to be very costly. Ultimately, for silver, if you get one fake silver coin out of a batch of 500, it's not the end of the world. You're not losing a great deal of money, but gold especially, it's really important to make sure that what you're getting is real. And I think a lot of us would understand that if you got even a single silver, it could be quite disheartening for others if it's fake. So what can we do as consumers to check our gold and silver when we get it? So one of the first things that I will say before you even unpackage the box, and I know a lot of people will get this parcel through the mail and they'll be super excited, and it's my first piece of gold and silver, I'm just ready to go, and they go rip through the parcel and they have a look at it. But that's, in my opinion, a little bit of a mistake. Certainly if you're a new buyer and you've never bought from a particular company before, whether you're even a seasoned stacker, I think sometimes it's worth recording what you are unpackaging. Now that might sound a little bit strange, going, but I'm not a YouTuber, why should I record an unboxing? Well, you don't record it for public consumption, you record it for your own private records. Now, of course, it can be a bit laboursome, a little bit cumbersome to record every single package that you ever get, but it really can be absolutely invaluable for protecting yourselves, especially against things like secondary market sales. So if you're buying things off eBay, or if you're buying things off forums or Instagram or YouTube, not a big dealer basically, not someone with a big online presence that you've bought perhaps with a credit card or a debit card or something that gives consumer protection like PayPal. If you've just done a bank transfer, you have no protection whatsoever beyond opening a legitimate fraud case. And how are you ever going to prove that if you don't have any evidence? So if you record your unpackaging when you get it, just for private use only, basically. You don't need to worry about labels and things. Of course, if you're going to be, sending this off for, police investigations against fraud and stuff like that, there's definitely privacy things to think about. But, from my perspective, 99 out of 100 of these will be just fine, if not more than that, to be quite frank. But it's that layer of protection which I think is really good. You don't need to keep the footage if everything's fine. If you open it up and everything looks dandy, then, you know, you can just get rid of the footage, can't you? So, but it's a really good way of checking and double checking basically that what you're getting can be good. Sometimes things can be tampered in the mail as well, and it can be really very difficult to prove otherwise if you don't have any evidence. So when you get that package and you've got those coins and you've maybe recorded it or not or whatever, and you just open them up, have a look at the coins, test the coins. That's one of the big things. Now, when I was getting started in gold and silver, I bought some of my very first coins from a dealer in Europe, and I'd done some research on them and I understood everything that I should expect from these coins. But when I first got the delivery, I was super paranoid that I'd be getting fakes. So I researched a lot of ways to test the different coins, and at the time, this was back in 2015, at the time, you know, there wasn't as much knowledge on YouTube about this sort of subject as others. So I basically ended up testing them by weighing them, making sure they were 31.105 grams, and measuring them, so making sure I had a little pair of calipers to make sure they were the right widths and dimensions. And of course everything was fine, it all matched up. But I handled a lot of those coins with my bare hands. And, you know, I don't have a lot of those coins anymore. Those have all kind of been moved on, so they're just not collections I'm looking for. But, you know, very quickly I noticed that a lot of them had these fingerprint marks. Of course they did. I handled them with my bare hands, and they started toning as well. And this is a prime example here, this US Eagle, which I got in only December this year from, in fact it was January, I think it was early January, from a subscriber. And yeah, it's already got a lot of toning. I keep it out on the desk. It's one of my 3 little eagles here. I've got 2 lovely toned ones and 1 untoned one, which I just have a kind of fidget piece. I'm going to try and do my little coin trick here. So I just like to do that. You know, I like this sort of fidget element of these silvers, but it's actually a really good way of understanding how real silver looks and feels. So pure silver, of course, is very, very conductive. It's one of the most, if not, I think the most conductive element on the planet, certainly an ease of access. And when you've got a big piece, like a big kilo bar, you can just feel almost instantly the heat being sapped away from your hand. That temperature is just being absorbed almost immediately, and that is so indicative of something real that is pure silver. It's really exciting. So that feel, that experience is invaluable, and you can do a whole host of different tests with Sigma metallitic machines and all these other fancy bits of kit that cost thousands of dollars, sometimes even more if you're, for example, doing XRF testing. I mean, not a single sort of regular stacker will ever have that, but my point here is that you can do all of these tests and have, you know, a pure gold coin here. It's within the brackets. I hope that's sort of showing up on the screen there. You can have all of this stuff here, but there really is no substitute for actually finding the gold. So we have to have it that way around to see it. There we go. Bit too much of a gap there. But you can, you know, there's no substitute for actually the experience that you get from handling this stuff. It's really, really invaluable. But having this experience is also just part of a bigger package. And one of the best things, I saw a really great video, I need to give credit here to Spectacular, who did a fantastic video about the fundamental failings sometimes of these Sigma Metalytics machines, because they can be tricked by different types of coins. And, you know, it is important to remember that they are not infallible, and it's all part of a bigger picture of tests that you must do whenever you get your silver. Now, if you've got like a whole monster box of Eagles and you bought it from a dealer, I would say you don't need to test every single coin within there, but certainly do kind of, you know, a cursory examination of every tube. Make sure that there are coins in there, of course. So, you know, just make sure that everything is as above board as you can. And I would highly recommend even just getting a couple of the coins out to have as kind of fidget pieces to feel. Now, there's a whole host of different tests that you can do. I'm not going to go over them in this video, otherwise it will turn into a 30-minute video, which is not really what we want to do here. But the point is that by experience, you will get the most value out of testing and understanding what is right when you get your deliveries. And that will then give you the best knowledge to be able to determine in your own mind whether something's all right and above board. And that experience, you know, for me, firsthand, there's 2 things here which I knew straight away when I got them were not quite right. Early days of eBay buying, and both of these were in many ways, you know, a bit of a financial hit. This trade dollar here, I naively bought back in, I think 2014 or something. It was just fake. It's just completely fake. I kind of knew it as soon as I got it, but I didn't do anything about it. and the time to get an eBay refund went past. I think I paid about £40 for it or something like that. Obviously fake coin. I mean, we can go on here to pre-1900 silver and it'll just show you, not even close to the brackets, whereas the piece dollars and things are going to be nicely nestled within the brackets. So experience is invaluable. Even at that early stage, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't do anything about it, which is a little bit of a shame. This other big bar here I bought off eBay in my early days of silver pouring with the intention of it being something that I would melt and one day use as melt stock. But I kind of knew straight away, and you can tell from it compared with another bar here, which has been independently assayed. That's another really good thing to look for. It just doesn't look the same. It really doesn't look the same. The sort of texture of it, the look, the finish on the top. And again, when we go here to the Sigma, now this is another limitation of the Sigma here, but when we go to 909 pure silver and we put that on, it's well out of the brackets. And the problem with the Sigmas though, the machine is not that great for big pieces. And it's, again, part of a bigger picture indication of what might be going on with the product. There's something that's not quite right here, so you need to do further investigation. But if we go, for example, to the sterling setting and we have the wand, we can see that it is within the brackets for sterling silver. So definitely some silver content in there, one would hope, but not really 999. So keeping yourself safe when you're buying is really important, and making sure that you understand what gold and silver should look and feel like, I think, is critical to making sure that you can protect yourself as a consumer. Now, the last little thing that I will touch on, which will be the subject of my next video, is record keeping. So when you get your delivery, one of the things that a lot of people will do instantly is throw away the invoice that's in there. I would highly recommend not doing that. A lot of the times now it's all recorded online anyway. You have digital resources to keep track of your stack, whether it be the purchase confirmation email. But I always would suggest keeping the paper versions of the invoices that you get. It's, I think, a really good way of being able to physically track that stuff. Sometimes, if it's an individual piece that you're buying and it's just one single coin, maybe keeping 100 invoices is going to be quite cumbersome. That's of course going to be difficult. Perhaps take a digital copy of it if you've not got any others. But keeping that copy is really important for when it comes to sell. And we'll talk more about record keeping in another part, but it is something to factor in, I think, at early doors when you get that package through the door. Don't just ignore the record keeping. It's very important, not just for keeping track of how much you're spending and what things are potentially worth down the line, but when you sell, it's important to have that proof that you bought it. Otherwise, some retailers might not even buy it off you. Some dealers might not buy it off you unless you can prove that it's not stolen, because that's a big thing when it comes to gold and silver. So that is my collection of tips, hints and tricks for taking delivery of your silver. I think the biggest one for me is protecting yourself by recording the unboxing. Make sure that you are protecting yourself as a consumer. I think it's less important for big dealers when you get packages from big dealers, but certainly from secondhand marketplaces and the like. Just take a good video of what the package looks like before you open it, and open it on camera so that you can see and everybody else could see, if ever needed, that what was in that package was actually in that package or not. It's invaluable. I know a lot of people have been burnt that way, and even from dealers as well. Dealers will make mistakes. If, for example, you've got a big complex order with multitude of different coins, they might have forgotten one or two, and if you videoed it, they have no way of checking. If you've not videoed it, they've got no way of checking whether you're telling the truth or not. So it's really important to do. So, love to know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Please feel free to comment, and if you've enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button. Otherwise, that's it from me. A big thank you to you all for watching. We'll see you on the next one. And as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.